Would you like some free AI models for your agent? OpenRouter is the unified interface for LLMs. It's a platform that contains many models that you can select in order to give your agents superpower. Just go to OpenRouter.ai, create a personal free account, and you're all set. Now let's explore some of these models. Just go to Models, and in here you'll see a list of all the models that are available in the platform. Keep in mind that with just one API key from OpenRouter, you have access to all these models, all within one account. What you see on the left side here is the many modalities of the different models. Let's say we got models that take files as input, or audio or video, and so on. So everything you need for your project needs. One of the things I like the most about OpenRouter is that I can browse models by categories. Just click categories, select your niche, let's say SEO for example, and you see you get a list of models that are good in this field. Let's say for example that you live in Europe, so your agent has to be AI Act compliant. What you do is you go on OpenRouter, you search for zero data retention supported, and that's it. You'll see a list of models that support zero data retention, thus making your project more compliant with the regulation. And then there's one secret, the thing I really love about OpenRouter. Since OpenRouter is a platform that is available globally, many companies use OpenRouter as a way to test their models before they actually release them, which means that there are a lot of free models available on the platform. Models that you can use to query your agent a couple of times for free. Let's see how it works. You just go on models on OpenRouter and then you search for the keyword free. And you see there's quite the extensive list. So there's models from NVIDIA, Poolside, Cohere, OpenAI, and so on. Now, how do we use them? The only thing you need is an API key for OpenRouter. To get one, you just go on the top right on your account, you look for profile, and in here you see I've got $0 on my account, but that's not a problem. You go to API keys on the left, then you create a new key, give it a proper name. Keep in mind, if you're using a paid account, you may want to set this credit limit, which is the amount of dollars in tokens that this key can actually spend before being blocked. And then you set an expiration. In this case, I'll set an hour so that I can use it for this test, but when you see the video, the API key will be expired so that no one will be able to use my key. Once you selected everything, you just hit create, and here is your new key. You just copy it, and we're moving back to NA10. What I created here, it's a very simple workflow. It starts from a chat trigger, so our workflow will receive a chat message. It will then execute a simple agent query for the top branch, while the bottom branch will execute the same query, but this time the model will be chosen dynamically. As you see, if I zoom in, this agent uses OpenRouter as a model, which means that this is where we need to set up our API key. So double click on this node, then click the drop down, create new credential, and paste your API key in here. Also, quick tip, rename your credentials. Just go to the top left, click and rename it. Then you want to save it, and we are good to go. Now we only need to select the model, so click on this drop down and search for the keyword free. In here you will see the list of all the free models that we saw on the website as well. Moving back, models, and then we search for free, and you see there's this list, so Nemotron, Poolside, whatever. If I move back to NA10, you see Nemotron, OpenAI, OpenRouter, Poolside, whatever. Now I'll select this one just to try it out. I'll move back to the canvas view by closing the node, and that's all you need to do. Let's see it in action. In this case, I disconnected the other agent because I just want to show you this one. I'll open the chat, and then we'll just send a simple message. So what can you help me with? We see, like usual, our agent lights up, the model lights up, and we'll get a response. Keep in mind that free models may take a little longer to generate the response, as of course the resources involved are smaller. But we got an answer nonetheless, and keep in mind that this was a free response. So if you're starting out and you want to get your feet wet with agents, this is a great way to do it because it's completely budget friendly. Now let's see how the model selector works. In this case, my agent as a model selector as a chat model. This is a way for us to set a certain set of rules that can help determine which model will be used. Let's say, for example, in a production environment that you may want to use, let's say, for example, Claude for complex coding tasks, and then you want to use GPT Mini for simple, smaller, easier tasks. This is how you define the logic. So you have one agent that has a model selector as a model, and then you select how many models you want, not just 2, it could be 5, could be 10, as child nodes of this model selector. If I double click the model selector, we see that we're getting an error here. This is because I'm evaluating the content of the message, so the chat trigger, but to show you the previous execution, I cut out the connection between the chat trigger and this agent. So let's restore that. I'll just close this window, and in here on the canvas, I'll just move the simple agent, click on the chat trigger and connect it to the dynamic model agent. Now let's open the model selector once again by double clicking it. And now we see the chat trigger is green, which means all good. Now the rule is very simple here. Basically, I'm just going to check if the message contains the word OpenAI. This is very silly. Ideally, what you would do is maybe you'll have a small agent that infers the domain of the user's request and outputs just the domain. So for example, code or finance or whatever, and then you use that field as the rule for the model selector. But in this case, just for ease of use, we'll go with this. So in case, we'll use model 1 if this condition is respected. So if the chat input does not contain OpenAI, otherwise, if the chat input contains OpenAI, then we'll use the second model. If I zoom in, you can see that model A, so the one that we will use if we are not sending OpenAI in the chat message, will be Nemotron from NVIDIA. And if I double click this node, you see that it's still connected to my OpenRouter account, and you'll see that the model is in fact Nemotron Nano, the free version. On the other node, if we double click, we can see that the credential is the same, but the model is different, and it is a model from the GPT family. Now let's see if it works. So I'll open the chat, and I'll send the same message. What can you help me with? You see, model A is lighting up. This is because the chat input does not contain OpenAI. So we'll get a response that's generated by the model A. If we want to use model B, we need to insert OpenAI in the text. So let's try that. So in this case, the message is the same. I just put use OpenAI at the end, and we'll see that the model that is working now is actually model B. So the model selector is doing its thing. And now we're getting a response generated by the model B, using the same agent as infrastructure. This is very powerful when you're creating complex workflows, as this is a way in which you can have an agent dynamically decide the amount of effort or intelligence that it's using for a given task, which also reflects on the cost of your systems. If you enjoyed this session, don't forget to like and subscribe for more, and if you got any question at all, please write them in the comments. My name is Luca, I'm an AI automation engineer and NA10 ambassador. I'll see you next time on Learn Pragmatically.